CM Punk just crossed a line on WWE Raw that you cannot come back from. The voice of the voiceless delivered a warning to Finn Balor so brutal, so personal, that the entire WWE universe is buzzing about what's coming next. This isn't just another promo, this is a declaration of war. What's going on, Suplex Rumble family? We're about to break down every single word, analyze what this means, and predict the explosive collision that's coming. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Suplex Rumble, your home for the most comprehensive wrestling breakdowns, analysis, and passionate discussion in the entire YouTube wrestling community. I'm your host, and if you're as hyped about this CM Punk and Finn Balor situation as I am, you're in exactly the right place. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this incredible segment, do me a huge favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and absolutely crush that notification bell so you never miss when we drop our latest content. We're building something special here at Suplex Rumble, and you are a massive part of it. Also, I need to hear your thoughts on this situation, so drop a comment below and let's get a conversation going. The best part of this channel is our community, and I read every single comment. Now, let's talk about what happened on Raw and why CM Punk's warning to Finn Balor has the wrestling world absolutely losing its mind. To fully appreciate the gravity of what CM Punk said on Raw, we need to understand the journey that brought us to this moment. This isn't a rivalry that started last week, this is a conflict that's been simmering, building, and intensifying over time. CM Punk and Finn Balor represent two completely different eras and philosophies of professional wrestling. Punk is the rebel, the outspoken truth-teller who's never been afraid to say exactly what's on his mind regardless of the consequences. He's someone who left wrestling on his own terms and returned when he decided the time was right. Finn Balor, on the other hand, is the seasoned veteran who's proven himself across the globe. From his legendary work in Japan to his accomplishments in NXT and on the main roster, Balor has cemented his legacy as one of the most talented performers of his generation. And let's not forget, when Balor embraces the demon persona, he becomes an entirely different level of threat. The tension between these two has been palpable. It's not just about wins and losses, it's about respect, legacy, and who truly belongs at the top of the WWE mountain. Both men believe they deserve to be the guy, and when you have two alpha personalities like this on a collision course, fireworks are inevitable. Leading up to this Raw segment, we've seen these two trade verbal jabs, we've seen near confrontations, and we've witnessed the mutual disdain growing with each passing week. The WWE Universe has been waiting for the definitive moment when things would explode beyond the point of no return. Well, that moment arrived on Raw, and CM Punk delivered it with the kind of intensity and brutal honesty that only he can bring. This wasn't corporate speak, this wasn't scripted pleasantries, this was Punk at his most dangerous, and Finn Balor was directly in his crosshairs. The build-up has been methodical and deliberate, which is exactly how you create anticipation for a major feud. WWE has been planting seeds, allowing the tension to grow organically, and giving both competitors opportunities to establish why this matters so much to each of them. Alright, let's get into the meat of what happened on Raw. CM Punk grabbed that microphone, and from the moment he started speaking, you could feel the atmosphere in the arena change. This was serious. This was personal. This was real. Punk's warning to Finn Balor wasn't delivered with jokes or clever wordplay. This was straight-up intimidation backed by confidence and the track record to support every single word. When Punk speaks, he has this unique ability to make you believe that what he's saying isn't just a promo, it's a promise. The essence of Punk's message was clear: Finn Balor has stepped into a fight that he cannot win. Punk made it abundantly clear that he's not intimidated by Balor's reputation, his accomplishments, or even the demon. In fact, Punk specifically addressed the elephant in the room, the demonic alter ego that's been Balor's ace in the hole for years. This is where things got really interesting. Most competitors, when faced with the demon, show at least some acknowledgement of the challenge. Not CM Punk. He essentially said that whether he's facing Finn Balor the man or the demon, the result will be exactly the same: CM Punk standing tall and Balor learning a painful lesson. But Punk didn't stop there. He went deeper, questioning Balor's heart, his hunger, and whether he truly has what it takes to hang with someone who's fought every battle, overcome every obstacle, and refuses to be denied. This psychological warfare is where Punk excels. He doesn't just want to beat you physically, he wants to break you mentally before the bell even rings. The delivery was what made this so impactful. Punk's tone was measured but menacing. Every word was chosen deliberately for maximum effect. He wasn't screaming or losing control, he was coldly, calmly explaining to Finn Balor exactly what was going to happen to him. What really elevated this segment was Punk's authenticity. When he talks about fighting for everything he's achieved, when he references the battles he's endured both inside and outside the ring, you can feel the weight of those experiences. That's not something you can fake, and it gives his warnings a legitimacy that makes them genuinely threatening. The warning also served another purpose: it established the stakes. This isn't going to be a friendly competition or a respectful athletic contest. When these two finally collide, it's going to be a war. Punk made sure everyone understands that he's not looking to just win a match, he's looking to make an example out of Finn Balor. Now, let's flip the script and talk about Finn Balor's perspective in all of this, because understanding both sides is crucial to appreciating what makes this rivalry so compelling. Finn Balor is not someone who backs down from challenges. Throughout his entire career, he's faced the biggest names in the industry and proven that he belongs in any conversation about elite-level talent. He's a former Universal Champion, a multi-time champion across multiple promotions, and someone who's earned the respect of his peers. But here's what makes this situation so dangerous for Balor. CM Punk is unlike any opponent he's faced in quite some time. Punk doesn't just wrestle you, he dissects you, finds your weaknesses, and exploits them ruthlessly. He's a master manipulator who can get inside your head and make you doubt yourself before you even step through the ropes. For Balor, the challenge is twofold. First, he has to deal with Punk the wrestler, the technical prowess, the experience, the in-ring intelligence. Second, and perhaps more importantly, he has to deal with Punk the psychological tactician who's already started the mind games with this brutal warning. The question everyone's asking is, will we see the demon? Balor's demonic persona has been his ultimate weapon, a transformation that seems to elevate him beyond normal human limitations. The paint, the presence, the psychology, it's all part of what makes the demon one of the most unique characters in WWE history. However, Punk's dismissal of the demon creates an interesting dilemma. If Balor brings out the demon and still loses, it could be devastating to the mystique that's been carefully built over years. If he doesn't bring out the demon and loses, the question will always be, what if? From a character standpoint, Balor has to respond to this warning. Silence or inaction would be interpreted as weakness, and that's not something a competitor of his caliber can afford. He needs to match Punk's intensity, prove that he's not intimidated, and establish that he's every bit the threat that Punk should be worried about. The beauty of this dynamic is that both men have legitimate claims to being right. Punk has the momentum, the confidence, and the track record of backing up his words. Balor has the talent, the experience, and the wild card of the demon. When these elements collide, we're guaranteed something spectacular. Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about what this rivalry means for WWE Raw as a whole, because the implications extend far beyond just these two competitors. CM Punk vs Finn Balor has the potential to be a marquee feud that anchors Monday Night Raw for months. These are the kinds of programs that drive viewership, create water-cooler moments, and give fans a reason to tune in week after week. From a championship perspective, this could easily factor into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Both men have legitimate claims to being #1 contender material, and a feud between them could serve as the perfect way to determine who gets the next title opportunity. But even if this doesn't immediately involve a championship, the personal nature of this conflict makes it main event worthy regardless. Some of the best feuds in wrestling history haven't been about titles, they've been about pride, respect, and settling scores. For the Raw roster, this sets a tone. When you have competitors of this caliber operating at this intensity level, it raises the bar for everyone else. Other wrestlers are watching and realizing they need to step up their game to remain relevant in this landscape. The WWE creative team has gold to work with here. The promos write themselves when you have two performers as skilled on the microphone as Punk and Balor. The matches will be absolute clinics in professional wrestling. The storytelling opportunities are virtually endless. This could also create ripple effects throughout the roster. Will other wrestlers try to insert themselves into this situation? Could we see alliances form or old rivalries reignited as a result of the chaos these two create? In wrestling, everything is interconnected, and a feud this hot tends to affect the entire ecosystem. Consider also the fan engagement aspect. The WWE Universe is already choosing sides, creating signs, starting chants, and investing emotionally in this rivalry. That organic fan response is exactly what WWE wants because it translates to engagement, merchandise sales, and sustained interest. Now we get to the fun part, Suplex Rumble Nation predictions and dream scenarios. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen and what I want to see happen. Prediction number 1, this is building toward a major pay-per-view match, possibly at one of the big four events. WWE knows they have something special here, and they're not going to rush it. Expect several weeks of escalating confrontations before we get the actual match. Prediction number 2, we're going to see the demon at some point. It's too big of a storytelling element not to use. My guess is that Balor starts as regular Finn, perhaps loses or gets outsmarted by Punk, and then unleashes the demon for the rematch or the blow-off. Prediction number 3, this feud is going to produce at least one instant classic match. Both guys are too talented, too motivated, and too invested not to deliver something that fans talk about for years. Dream scenario number 1, give me a 30-minute Iron Man match between these two. Let them tell a complete story, go back and forth, and showcase everything they can do in the ring. The technical wrestling combined with the storytelling would be absolutely phenomenal. Dream scenario number 2, I want to see Punk face the demon at a major stadium show with a massive crowd fully invested in the outcome. The visual spectacle combined with the in-ring action would be unforgettable. Dream scenario number 3, however this feud ends, I want it to end with both men elevated. The best rivalries are the ones where both competitors come out better than they went in. Whether Punk wins or Balor wins, the journey should make both of them even bigger stars. I also think there's potential for this to become a trilogy. The first match establishes the dynamic, the second match flips the script, and the third match settles everything definitively. Wrestling history is filled with legendary trilogies, and Punk vs. Balor has that potential. One wildcard scenario: what if this eventually leads to a faction warfare situation? What if Balor brings in allies, forcing Punk to do the same, and this evolves into something even bigger? The Judgment Day connection could certainly play a role here. Whatever happens, I'm confident that WWE is going to maximize this opportunity. They have two of the best performers in the world who clearly have chemistry and a story that fans are already invested in. That's a recipe for success. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about why this matters to us as wrestling fans, because it's about more than just two guys having a feud. This is the kind of storytelling that reminds us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. Real emotion, genuine intensity, competitors who make you believe that what's happening actually matters. That's the magic. CM Punk's return to WWE has been one of the most significant developments in recent wrestling history. Every program he's involved in carries extra weight because of the journey that brought him back. Seeing him operate at this level, cutting promos that feel real and dangerous, is a gift to fans. Finn Balor represents excellence and consistency. He's someone who's delivered quality performances for years and deserves to be in exactly these types of high-profile situations. This feud gives him a platform to remind everyone just how good he truly is. When wrestling is done right, when the promos connect, when the stakes feel real, when the performers are fully committed, it's the greatest form of entertainment on the planet. This Punk vs. Balor situation is wrestling done right, and we should appreciate and celebrate it. This is also a reminder that wrestling is at its best when it's simple but executed perfectly: two competitors, a legitimate grievance, and the promise of an incredible confrontation. Sometimes less is more, and this feud proves it. And there you have it, Suplex Rumble family. CM Punk has issued a brutal warning to Finn Balor, and the entire WWE universe is bracing for the collision that's coming.